Warning. The following podcast contains explicit language, honest opinions and a sense of humor. Welcome to the Brothers Take.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our podcast. I'm Chris, joined by my brothers Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room to talk more about video games in a new year, 2021. It's brighter, hopefully. Actually, you know what? It feels like we're in like a big TV show, right? Every year is a season. And some seasons, they kind of wrap up the story and they start the new season with like a new story. But last season, they kind of ended it on a cliffhanger and they haven't wrapped it up. And it's sort of it was a to be continued. And now we're like, let's go again.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped. We're still in the last season in a way.
Yeah. Like
I'm hoping this firmware update is a bit better than last one, because last one was just full of viruses.
Hey! Anyway, we're not here to talk about viruses. We're here to talk about video games. And welcome everyone back. If you're someone who's returning back to the series, but if you're here for the first time, hello and welcome. We are three brothers who like to talk about video games in podcast format, and sometimes other stuff because we're big fucking nerds. So, movies, shows,
nerd or geek? I've always wondered.
What's the definition?
Well, nerds are cool and geeks are geeks that you stuff in the lockers and take their lunch money.
Nerds are not cool, Eric.
I think it's actually supposed to be the other way around. I think a nerd is someone who's academically clever or really like into academia, and a geek is someone who is an expert on stuff that doesn't actually matter.
Right. See, I think now at this point it's the other way around because people just talk so.
It seems to have switched a bit.
What's a dork?
I think, like, what's a dork?
I remember
like, even geeks called it like they're like the weird end of the geek.
Our dad described someone as a dork once, right? Someone that I know. I was like, I don't think he's a dork. Like, he's not pretty academic. He was like, no, he's not. He's a fucking dork. I was like, I don't know what you mean, because I always thought a dork meant something like, do you know, like that guy in The Simpsons, and he's got like the little suspenders, the white shirt and the black hair and the red glasses. I can't remember his name, but I always thought like someone like that is like would be what someone would consider a dork, but based on our dad's explanation, it's not. A dork is something else altogether. I don't know. Anyway,
surely a dork is also like a geek, right? But even a geek would make fun of them.
Yeah. Hey man, you wanna play chess with me? No, fuck off. You're a dork. You gotta play chess with these other geeks.
But maybe it actually came from something. Like, it almost sounds like someone who's into a specific, like, you know the way like a grunger, for example, a grunger was like, it's into grunge, but it just got associated with everyone that listens to rock music, basically.
Or just has long hair. It's like someone's actually a fan of Post Malone, but you ain't a grunger. Or Bob Marley. Like, you could be into anything. I made that mistake when I was younger. I remember I had a metal leader and he had long hair. And I just assumed, I was like, yeah, he's going to be cool because he's a metalhead. And I asked him one day, I was like, which do you prefer, man, metal or rap? Because I think when I was younger, like, they had to be against each other. They couldn't be. And he was like, I don't know. It depends on the artist. Like, who do you like? And I was like, what the
hell? What's with this?
Like, that wasn't what? That wasn't an option. Anyway, if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome, and you can join in on the conversation. I've forgotten how to speak.
Conversation.
Conversation, right? You can join in on our conversation. This is why I'm not a voice actor. That was fucking dreadful. Let's start again. If you're watching it on YouTube,
let's scrap all the previous episodes. We'll just start again. New topic.
The whole episode.
Sports.
That's what. Yeah. Actually, you know what? It's a new podcast. Yeah,
we're here to talk about sports ball.
Sports balls. No, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can join in on the conversation by jumping into the comments below. And if you enjoyed the episode at any point, make sure to hit the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel so you check out all of our other episodes. And if you're listening to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take. It's been a long time since I said that.
Last year, in fact.
Yeah, it was. So last year. That intro is so last year. You can as well, actually, if you listen to audio platforms, hit the follow button, which is
pretty handy.
It's on Spotify and stuff. Yeah, but it'll let you know when we release either a new episode or a bonus segment. Bonus segments come out pretty randomly. I think as well, we were talking before, bonus segments might end up being in the future not like bonus video game segments. That might be kept only to the main series. Bonus segments might from now on be if we want to talk about a movie or something. Like if there's a movie we saw we want to review, that might become a bonus, and therefore it won't be stuck to such a time limit either. It'll just be that, because it's outside of the normal series, it's labeled a bonus, but it can be just as long as our normal episodes. What is our topic today? I haven't even told you that.
Is there any is there any films like kind of coming up? Last year felt like there was nothing really.
Yeah, there was nothing.
It's weird. It's weird to have a year of just nothing.
There was no movies. It's terrible.
There was like no real big blockbusters, like 2 or 3, I think, the whole year. There was a shit ton of movies. There was loads of movies being released.
Yeah,
but
I know,
there wasn't really blockbusters.
When we're talking about like you should be able to rattle off shitloads of movies.
Yeah.
In a year, but obviously because the year that we had, we couldn't. There's loads of years scheduled to come out this year, whether they will or not.
Yeah.
Just don't know.
Black Widow, coming out. James Bond's coming out. I heard something about Mortal Kombat coming out. I think the Uncharted one's coming out this year. I think. I think there's probably some DC one coming out. Is Zack Snyder's cut coming out this year? Yeah.
Just this year.
Yeah.
And that will come out because it's HBO Max anyway, so that will come out.
Yeah.
How we'll see it, I don't know, and when.
It's getting a 4K release, so.
I know, but it won't be at the same time, will it? I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't say it'd be far off though. They're pretty quick to release things to 4K now.
Anyway, we'll get into all that. Yes, we're here to talk about whatever we played and whatever we got up to over the holidays, just to kind of catch up and get us back into the flow of podcasting. And you can, of course, get in touch to let us know what you got up to over the holidays and what you played over the holidays as well. Some did. I messaged out on Facebook, and some people did actually message back some of the stuff that they were playing. We might bring that up. But anyway, let's get back to talking about video games. Okay, so what did you guys do over the holidays?
A bit of this and a bit of that,
Nothing. I did not. Okay, end of the episode. Thanks, guys. Bye. Actually, before we get into the games, because you were talking just before about movies that might be coming out this year, did you watch any movies over the holidays?
A load of films.
It's now a movie podcast, everyone.
I'm surprised how much I had all these plans to play like so much games. You like it's like, oh, I'm gonna be off now for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to play the hell out of everything. I was wanting to get into like the PS Plus collection, a lot of stuff in there that I haven't touched. I had Astrobot Rescue Mission for VR. I had Blood and Truth for VR. I got a PSN voucher for Christmas, so I was going to get the Pathless with that. So I had all these plans to play all these games, and I didn't touch one of them. I just ended up watching films.
So what did you watch?
It's weird. A load of Christmas films.
Really?
Like a shit ton.
Oh.
Christmas? What's wrong with you?
They're
crazy, man.
Not one of them was Die Hard, actually. So
no, I didn't watch Die Hard.
There's just a bunch of really, really bad Christmas movies. And I watched the original Star Wars trilogy.
Hey!
And all of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I did too. yeah.
And the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, excellent.
Extended, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
What the fuck? Well, you know what? You can get away with watching. I think the theatrical cut of The Fellowship is actually perfect.
Yeah, and the Two Towers actually.
And the Two Towers is pretty good. There's a couple of scenes. The scenes with like Faramir and Boromir, I think.
Yeah, they're good.
Extended.
Yeah.
Are really good. Other than that, there's actually some extended scenes that it's like that feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessary at all. Return of the King has to be watched extended.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty
extended scene that's not good. Like it just all flows as this incredible movie.
It's
to
also...
the point now I can't remember. Like if you watch Two Towers of Fellowship, you can go, that's a left out bit. Whereas if you watch Return of the King now, I can't tell which bits are.
I watched it back when I was in college because they came on the Netflix. So I was like, oh well, I gotta watch it. I'm in college. It's on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it. Feck everyone else who likes Harry Potter or doesn't like Lord of the Rings. So I watched it.
Jesus.
And when you get
there in the audience, any of you people out there who like Harry Potter.
Well, no, it's one of the housemates prefers Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings. Anyway,
like a grudge there,
Okay.
like built in.
when you do watch it, it is actually quite jarring. Without with all the extended bits cut out. Because there's even the conversation between Gandalf and Pippin.
Right.
In Minas Tirith, they see it's before the big beam shoots up into the sky from Minas Morgul. And as it's zooming in, originally, I think it just has the sounds of the city at work. And then as it's zooming in on the balcony. But they then cut over that in the theatrical with Bilbo talking about he's not actually wanting me to do any fighting. And then they'll cut out a section of that conversation, that Gandalf saying something else. And then they cut that conversation up even more into, like, you can see Bilbo saying...
Pippin.
Pippin.
Pippin. I keep thinking of Billy Boyd, because he's the actor. And then I just add Bo at the end. Right.
Billy Bo.
So Pippin's mouth is moving. And because I've seen the extended so much, I know what he's supposed to be saying. But they have something else cut over what he's actually saying. So it doesn't actually line up there.
Wow, see, I don't remember that at all.
And then the Black Gate bit.
I know, it's very hard. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like, what? Where's the mouth? What's going on? Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Aragorn's sword is out, and you're like, what's going on there? But there's no body on the ground.
Cool thing about the
They got
Return of the
that
King
right.
extended cut though as well was that like when I saw the theatrical cut in the cinema, I went to see it like 4 times, I think. And loved it every single time. Right? Absolutely loved it. Probably best cinematic experience ever. The Return of the King. And then when you watch the extended cut at home, you're like, whoa, it's even better. Like
Yeah.
so much new shit to be like that Saruman sequence. I remember the first time seeing that.
That's
I was
a
like,
really weird omission.
whoa. It is very weird. It's very weird.
Like, I
it's
can think
why
of
would you put that in?
a lot more stuff that they could cut out instead. You know? Like, if they
Well,
were
just
if they were
get
going to
that
make
segment
cuts, like,
yeah.
bits of the end is where I'd cut from. Like, the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah. I would
Um,
definitely have put the Saruman sequence in. I think it's so important to see how the character gets sent off in that franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how he goes in the book. Not the same location, but, same way. So it only makes sense to include it.
Yeah. And
Really
Christopher
weird.
Lee was very surprised, I think, when he went to see it.
He had a fallen
He
out.
was, yeah. He was like, "What? I wasn't in it." Eric, did you watch anything over Christmas?
I watched Dread, actually. The film
Oh
Dread.
yeah, that went on Netflix there, didn't it?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I was like, I'll give that, because I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077, so I was in a bit of that sort of mood, and I wanted to stay in that mood. So I watched Dread, and then I watched Altered Carbon.
Oh,
the show?
Netflix.
Is it a show or a
Netflix
movie?
show.
That's a Netflix show. There's 2 seasons of it.
Yeah.
And I was watching season 1. I got all the way into season 2. I've already seen the seasons before, but so I was just rewatching them. Yeah, I don't like the second season as much as the first season. There's something about, because the first season is it's the cliche of like an old-fashioned noir detective show, but set within this cybernetic, like cyberpunk sort of future, but where people can now live forever. And therefore, what does that do to people if they can live forever? And nothing can really, like the body can die, but they can still just get like a new body and stuff like that. Like, but then the second one, I'm not too sure what they're trying to be with the second one, and I just think it's a little like sci-fi cliche almost. Like it almost. Anthony Mackie's in it. The guy who plays Falcon.
Yes,
yeah, and he's really good. So some of the actors are really good in it, but I just feel like what they're trying to do, because it's based on a different world and they're dealing with some weird shit. It almost feels like a CW sci-fi show or something like that.
Oh yeah.
More than the other one.
Right, yeah. I get.
I actually bought Blade Runner 2049. I was planning on watching it. It was on iTunes for like €4.
Oh, lovely. Happy days.
So I didn't get around to it, but yeah, I mean that would be the ultimate kind of cyberpunk thing to be watching, Eric, if you want to get into. Have you seen it?
That is true. Oh, I saw it. I almost fell asleep while watching it in cinema.
Yeah,
I had
you went with me, didn't you? Didn't we go?
I went to the Arc.
Yeah, I don't know why we went there. First of all, I think it had something to do with timing, was it?
I mean, it was your choice. I don't know. I just went, yeah, sure, let's watch that. But I think I just
saw
came
it
back
once as well. I've really been wanting to watch it again because I've been watching a bunch of like, do you ever see like CGI artists react kind of stuff?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
and just and analysis, like video analysis is on YouTube and stuff. And there was a lot of clips around that film. And I was like really, really impressive shit that I just like. I definitely want to give it another watch.
How about yourself, Chris?
Is that all you watched?
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played video games. That's what we
shit.
talk
Yeah.
about.
Okay, we're gonna get there. Okay, all right. Yeah, Eric's gonna
failed you.
No, Eric's like, do you not fucking remember the episode we did where we said how many hours we played video games for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't about how many hours I spent watching films, Chris. Got that about.
So I watched the original Star Wars trilogy. I watched all the Mandalorian, and I watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I watched the Hobbit trilogy. We watched all the Harry Potter movies just before Christmas.
Where do you just find it out?
I actually I watched the first Harry Potter. I didn't watch any of the others, because I felt like that one is probably the most Christmassy.
Oh yeah. We said that before, actually, didn't we? I think we said that before. But I was actually talking to a young person about Harry Potter. They're really into Harry Potter, so I was like, okay, well, there's some common ground. Like I know about Harry Potter, so I can have a conversation about that. It's like I like there's nothing like what I can't talk to you about fucking I don't know TikTok. I don't know what that is. So sure, let's talk Harry Potter. And they were saying, because they were talking to someone else, they were recommending Harry Potter, and they were like, don't worry, after the first 3 it gets better.
What?
And I said, wait, what? Surely the first 3 are the best. I think it definitely deteriorates in quality after the first 3 movies. You know, like the tone and the style gets very weird, very weird. But yeah, they were well, maybe they're just like the teen drama and the dark edginess. Maybe I don't know, but I definitely think the first 3 are the best movies. But
high school is such a serious thing. You know, these problems matter. All that sort of stuff.
I think when everyone like teachers and shit are trying to kill you, it is pretty. It's not a normal school, like, you know. Yeah, it's actually shocking. The ministry should shut it down. Like they're fucking.
Yeah, like their detention, their punishment is go into the forest with the giant killer spiders, the creepy tribalistic centaurs. There's freaking trolls and goblins. That's your detention. Yeah, go into that forest there, or you could die.
Yeah.
But don't learn any dark magic that can kill people. That's bad.
By the way, if you go into that forest, we're gonna punish you so bad by making you go into that forest. So anyway, that's some of the shit we watched, and all good stuff. I've yet to go on to the prequel Star Wars trilogy are next. I'm gonna watch them next.
I was really wanting to
good times
watch them as well, but
hey, we'll get there. There's more time. There's more time to watch stuff. We're in lockdown. We can watch stuff. Yeah. We can't, like, at night you can't go anywhere, so it's like play a game or watch a movie. You know.
Yeah, I'm working at night, so.
Oh yeah, me too. In the morning we can. We can't go anywhere. So anyway, let's get to talking about the video games then that we played over the break while we were gone away from this here podcast. Adam, it sounds like you didn't play anything. You poser.
Not that I remember. Yeah, like I played.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't think I did play anything.
What?
I played a little bit of. We got the Elder Scrolls Online, so I played a little bit of that.
Yeah, we did.
And that's it. Actually, that's all I played.
Wow. Well, let's start with talking about Elder Scrolls Online then, which is a game that I wanted to try out a good while back, but I kind of wasn't sure about. Like, I'm really not that into MMOs.
Yeah.
So I was a bit worried about buying it and giving it a go. But having gotten it over Christmas, I was like, well, hey, yes, let's do it. How do you guys find it?
So I played a little bit of it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And it really scratched that itch of like wanting to play more Elder Scrolls stuff.
Yeah.
And now on that version, I started off as a Nord, so I was in like an island off of Skyrim. So there was a lot of like familiarity and everything, and there was dialogue and what people are talking about. Like this felt familiar. I thought that was a great way because obviously Skyrim is like I know more about the
That's
Elder
right,
Scrolls
guys.
5
First
as
episode of
opposed to the other two.
2021, and we're talking about Skyrim
We're
again.
about Skyrim again. But yeah, I just thought that was a great starting point for myself to be able to like get into the Elder Scrolls Online. And I was having a lot of fun. The quests like felt like quests that I would have done in Elder Scrolls 5, but this time then we decided to try something a little different and start off as Redguard, and we started off in somewhere else completely. And I don't know what's going on. I have no familiarity with any of this, and oddly enough, like when I was playing some of the stuff on my own, it's like this fine, yeah, this feels normal. But once we started playing together, it's not very clear as to what you can do. That's what I felt.
Same thing. I think the game works perfectly fine when you're playing on your own.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder why they went online at all. I don't like, apart from just messing around in the kind of the open plains. Like, let's all, oh, cool, a cave. Let's all go in that cave together, maybe, if you want to form a group of people. But other than that, or as a way to maybe, because you can go up and open up the interaction, like options with people that you meet. So maybe they thought, oh, it could be cool for people to meet each other, and they clearly have fantasy games as a common interest. So they might meet people. But other than that, I don't really see much of a need to play it online. I actually got more immersed in a quest when I was doing one on my. Plus, once you start a quest, they don't let your friends go with you. So I don't really.
Yeah, it depends on the quest as well. That's the bit I just thought like it needed to be clearer. It's like what can you actually do together?
Yeah, because like at least with Destiny, it's a bit like you can invite friends, but with your friends you can essentially do every mission. But then there's also the raids, and then there's also the player versus player stuff as well. Destiny's way more clear with that. So I don't. Yeah,
Destiny is the complete opposite. Like Destiny is really shit on your own. Like on your own, that's a crap game.
Right.
But
okay.
With another player, that's one of the best online experiences I've ever had.
Because I'm going to continue playing the Elder Scrolls. I was doing a quest that I was like, this is actually really cool. And actually, because I was like, we were playing online together, I was chatting away to you guys, we were having a bit of crack. But at the same time, I was like, this seems like a really interesting quest, but I haven't a fucking clue what they're saying because I'm talking to the guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not immersed in it at all. I'm very passively taking part in it. But that's not really what made, like, when I was playing Skyrim so good. By the way, here's a fun one for you guys if you're in lockdown. Go listen to all of our podcast episodes with a bit of drink with you and take a shot every time we say Skyrim. The Skyrim drinking game. I'm joking.
I know people who would take you up on that offer.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? Because the episodes are so long, it won't do you much good.
No.
Like we say it in nearly every episode, but it is few and far between probably if you're trying to drink to
it. You'd have one shot per episode.
Maybe a drink every time I laugh. You'd be well done then.
Yeah.
That happens often enough.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
We're talking about Elder Scrolls Online Skyrim.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Like how? Yeah, I agree. Like even with Destiny, when I was playing Destiny, that happens as well, where you're trying to like there's a cutscene but if you're playing with someone and they're yapping, you're missing the cutscene.
Yeah.
Like that's the unfortunate thing about online games.
Yeah.
But I do tend to think that's why online games are not very cinematic. They're not very immersive generally.
No,
Like
yeah,
the cutscenes and the way story is told is quite like bare. And it's just because they're probably just aware that there's going to be people interrupting each other.
Yeah, there's
There needs to be enough there to be like so that there's a task to do, but not enough so that you don't want to play with anyone.
Yeah.
But I did find like I'd like to get more into Elder Scrolls Online because it's a very popular game. It's doing really, really well. Like it started off really badly, but it's doing really well now.
I'm looking forward to getting to like the open world.
Yeah, I'd say that's where it probably like I imagine where we are at the moment, the kind of like hub world area, what it seems to be, or like a starting point. I imagine that's designed to be more do the tasks on your own, get to the next area, because there's probably going to be like raids and stuff, and that's the stuff you would be doing together.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm thinking like when we all get to that point, that's when it's worthwhile probably going, hey, let's all go online and do like a dungeon together, or like a actually explore the wilderness more so,
But I do always find that MMO style games, their onboarding isn't great. Like if you're not used to online gaming, you always kind of need someone who's very familiar with the game to kind of hold your hand and teach you the ropes a little bit. But for
none
us,
of us
like
are.
none of us, this is the first MMO I've ever played, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. How do we join each other?
I will say, I will say it's not as ugly as I thought it was going to be in terms of like I hate seeing all the. I always think UI and stuff on an MMO looks so horrendous that it takes me totally out of the experience. And I was worried it was that. That's why I never bought it before. I was worried that that's what it was. I was like, that's just not going to work for me. So I'm really happy to see that it pretty much looks like, in terms not graphically, but it does look very much like Skyrim.
Yeah, remember when I tried to run towards you? Because like my save file got deleted or something. I don't know how, but so I was a Breton in some Stormhaven place, and you guys were on Desert Island. I was like, all right, I'm gonna run to you.
Yeah.
Thank God I figured out how to fast travel. Because again, that was another thing where we need like someone to teach us. Because I was like, there has to be a way. Let's go to social. Let's go to So I was like going through everything to see is there a way to actually get to you. So thankfully.
Well, what was nice as well doing it online was and I am looking forward to more online experiences in terms of playing with you guys or playing with other people. It gave us a chance to check out the chat function on the PS5.
Yeah.
And it sounds better than it did on the PS4. At least by my estimation, it did.
I agree. Like I was using the same headset. Like I was using these.
Yeah, same.
It was definitely sounded a lot better. So the DAC in the PlayStation 5 controller seems to be way better than the DualShock 4. And
I played a couple of games just with headphones on as well, because I was just like, oh, cool, that sounded great. Let me see what it's like and it sounded really good, really, really good. Yeah. And these aren't PS5 headphones, so I thought it was cool to check that out. It's something that I hadn't really checked out. I never game with headphones, and now I was like, oh, there's certain games actually that I think would sound great playing like this. I was like, where have I been living under a rock? Everyone else probably like, we always game with headphones, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people game with headphones. Like I never really do. Like
I suppose it depends on other people in the house and stuff, and maybe if you want to go loud
possibly,
and or if you're playing a horror game and you just hate yourself, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's
my heart like.
There was one time where I was playing Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah. We'll have to get into that now.
Made by people who did The Witcher 3, so they obviously have some adult content in it.
Yeah.
And I was playing at my usual volume and stuff, and this person contacted me saying I had to meet her at a motel, and I was like, all right, okay, whatever. She's like some corporate agent person. I met her at the start of the game, and I was like, grand, okay, motel, obviously some sort of sleazy dealing. She wants me to do a job and not want anyone to know. And then I walk in there, and I'm like, all right, what's all this about? 2 seconds later, it's a sex scene. I'm like, oh shit, turn it down. And that's the one time the remote wasn't working for me. So headphones would have been handy there.
No, because then you wouldn't have heard man walk in. And she's just looking at you wondering why you've got headphones on. What kind of sick game is this? You're like, no, I swear to God, it's intellectual.
Like, why do you always walk in at these bits?
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha. I swear the game's not this weird.
That's, yeah, unfortunately with Final Fantasy X, which is a fantastic game, there's many moments like that when you don't want anyone to walk in. You're like, can't you walk in when it's being awesome?
Yeah.
Come in at the start. Just watch this. Yeah.
No, the start is still a bit. Nah, it's the bit after
the start. Yeah. When sin comes, watch that. Watch that. I swear, that's what I'm playing for. That thing right there. I swear, there's got to be more of that. I will at some point. I'm gonna see that again. Look at Oren. So Eric, you played Cyberpunk mainly over the break, right?
Yes. Yeah. I took a little break from it and started playing like Bloodborne and stuff. But yeah, that's mainly what I've been playing with Cyberpunk.
It's okay. You don't need to get choked up. How is it?
I love the way you're saying just to take a break from it. I played Bloodborne, probably one of the fucking most stressful games you could play.
Actually, I'm having a bit of a cakewalk this time at Bloodborne. I don't know how, but it's gotten a little easier. Maybe because I've just gotten used to those types of games that I'm like, yeah, this is grand. Dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge, and then eventually I might get a hit in there.
Lovely.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, we have to ask because I mean, obviously there was huge controversy over Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Huge controversy, and even because I had bought it for you, I had it wrapped already. I had it ready to go, and then the reviews came out, and I went, "Oh shit!" Because I was like, because he was really looking forward to this, and it's really hard to and we were like podcasting as well, and like it had come up, and we had to talk about it, and I was like, I don't want to talk about how shitty it's getting like destroyed and then I'm gonna hand it to him. It's already wrapped up. But Eric, how have you found Cyberpunk 2077?
I loved it. I think it's great.
There you go. 5 stars from Eric.
I mean, yeah, there's issues, and I watched some of the videos where people were showing how buggy and awful, like, you know what I mean, and I have experienced bugs. The game has crashed a good few times, and sometimes I'm not in the mood. I do find that that's quite unimmersive. So when it crashes, I am a bit like, you know what? I'll just turn it off. I'll just do something else, like, you know what I mean. Yeah, other times I might load it back up then and then play it, and then I'm playing it. But as for bugs, most of them have been fine. Yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been much of an issue really.
You're playing on bugs. PS5, right?
Yeah.
Have you tried it on the PS4?
The thing is like 100 gigs. I'd have to delete everything off the PS4 just to load it up.
Just to see how fucked is it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't really need that copy of Call of Duty Black Ops on your PS4, would you?
I didn't download on PS4.
That's a joke. I'm just saying. Right. There's bound to be something on the PS4 that you're not going to be playing. It'd just be interesting to see, like, is this a case by case basis, or are you a lucky one where your game is just running no problem, or is this console specific? Is the PS5 genuinely that much better that it can perform this PS4 game better than the PS4? It'd just be interesting to see what that difference is.
Would be, but
you're not going to do
probably
that.
Not going to try.
Next week's episode is an entire comparison by comparison.
Because it seems as though like a lot of the hate around the game, which I think is, I actually do think it's a deserving criticism.
People are having that problem.
It's the Xbox One and PS4 versions. Not many people are playing on the next gen.
Like the more average gamer still has. I mean, it's still hard to get those next gen consoles.
Yeah.
And a lot of the average gamer doesn't play PC either.
Yeah.
Right. So most of them are playing on PS4 or on Xbox One. Like, I'd say most of the sales for the Cyberpunk 2077 was those base console versions. Well, obviously you can't get a PS5 or Xbox Series X version, but you could play on it. But not everyone has those.
It's going to come out this year.
Yeah. So most of the complaints must be that, because I even saw kind of funny gaming podcasts. You know that one?
Yeah.
Which is a podcast I really enjoy. But they were talking about Cyberpunk 2077. When it had just come out, they were talking about all the problems with it. And one of them, can't remember his name, but one of them was like, "You see, this baffles me." He's like, "I'm so surprised by this because I'm playing on PC," and he said, "and it's running like a dream." So he's like, "I'd love to see what everyone's talking about." He said, "Because I think the game is amazing." Whereas the other guy was talking about it from a PS4 perspective, and he was going, "No, from my perspective, the game is."
From my perspective, on PS4 is evil.
Because Pagan has it on PC. She's been playing it on PC.
Right, yeah.
I've seen bits of it, and it's not that impressive for what I expect. From what I for a game like this seems to be this generation's crisis. Can your thing run Cyberpunk?
Right.
But
yeah.
It's not like a huge generational leap. Like I'm looking at like Red Dead 2, and I'm like, to be honest, I think Red Dead 2 in some areas looks better than this game. Last of Us 2 character models look better than this game.
Yeah, of course they do.
So I'm not really sure why it's not really working. Like obviously there's other more complicated systems in the game and stuff like that. That's probably bogging it down. And at 100 gigs, that's really small actually. In comparison to Final Fantasy 7 is nearly that, and this is a much bigger game. But even on that, there were glitches on the PC version, like environments clipping inside a building, dialogue appearing randomly on characters when it's completely out of context or things like that. Characters who are just kind of like weirdly morphed and like just walking on their back or something like that. Like the PC version is still not a dream, but it's playable. That's
what I'm wondering. Like,
mine is fucking. Yeah. Mine's a dream then compared to Pagan's.
when you were saying case by case, I'm wondering if that's the case.
Case.
How many more times can I say case? But just in case, I think we should.
We should get on that case.
Even though obviously Pagan has experienced glitches on the PC, is she enjoying it?
Yeah. There's just moments sometimes similar to Eric's where it would like kind of bug out, and then that would annoy her, and then she'll just turn it off and then come back to it at another point, kind of a thing. But nothing major. Like some of the stuff is like they're the kind of bugs that when you come across them, it's more like you get a laugh at it. Like can we get another Skyrim count here? But when you're playing the Elder Scrolls, like there's glitches all over the place, but it's part of its charm.
Yeah.
Because I think for one of my glitches quite recently when I was playing Cyberpunk, I was talking to this guy and he was standing there looking at me, and then he just sat down on nothing, and then he stood back up, and then he kind of like slanted, and then like sat back down again. Then he like leaned forward, and he just kept doing that over and over.
Yeah,
again,
so it's things like that. It's things like that where it's like the game isn't like unplayable on certain systems.
Yeah.
But it's not polished. It's not like
yeah.
To the extent of like how long this has been in development, that stuff shouldn't be there.
That's weird to me when you know how long the development cycle was. Because I didn't, like I said before. Do you remember last year at the very start of our podcast at all when like we were talking about how Cyberpunk 2077 seemed to be the most anticipated game of the year?
I didn't understand it.
And I was like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's like, because it's the guys who made Witcher 3. I was like, yeah, but I'm looking at it, though. I'm not looking at The Witcher. I'm looking at it. I don't get it. I get that it looks interesting. It looks cool. But I don't get why it's the more anticipated than The Last of Us Part 2 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake. That's the bit I don't get, right?
Yeah.
And I had no idea, and it seemed to come out of nowhere for me, and yet everyone was like going crazy for it. And I hadn't heard of the tabletop game, so then I was like, okay, well, maybe there's a lot of interest in tabletop game. I've listened to other reviewers who talk about, no, they just like Cyberpunk as a genre in general. I was like, okay, so maybe that's it. And then I found out that this thing was actually announced back in, when was it announced?
2012, I think it was, or 2013.
13? Like, I didn't know that. I missed that altogether. So then I was like, oh, so this is something that people have actually been waiting for
this was a trailer before
so then I was like, okay, maybe that's it then. I see, I didn't know that. and I just thought that this came out of nowhere, and it's some unknown game, and everyone's just losing their mind over it. And I was like, why? There's nothing special being shown here. It's first-person Deus Ex. We've seen it before. What's so special?
Yeah.
What is so special?
What is special about it, Eric?
Imagine you get to customize the size of your penis. And
Get
then
wangs in your
That's
brown
a dream
bread.
come true for you.
and then you get to never see it again.
Yeah,
What a
that choice is
pointless
weird to me.
slider.
That choice is weird to me.
So weird.
Well, character
Well,
customization in a first-person game is just what
it's
is the
100%.
point?
Well, especially if you don't have the option of, in Skyrim.
You're gonna get pissed in this episode.
This is the episode to do it if you're going to do it. I'm gonna help you out here, brother. Skyrim. But you make your character in that, and you can play in first person or third person.
Yeah.
And obviously, the gameplay has to reflect that it works both ways. In something like Cyberpunk, it's obviously built to be a first-person shooter. I can't imagine that if you could go in third person, that the gameplay would still work.
There's been people who managed to mod it, and it's hilarious because it's like the character model. You know the T pose that
Yes, yeah.
caps do. It's a bit like that. So the entire body is static, but the arms move.
Yeah. Well, I
and
suppose
you kind of glide. It's
the thing is, if you look at first-person shooters, that is not the way people move, but it just works for first-person shooters. People walk around with their gun like that, people don't do that. That's not the way people move. So they're not realistic, but they are immersive. Like if you did it realistically, it probably wouldn't be as fun to play, or it wouldn't be as immersive. You wouldn't see the gun really right out in front of your eyes.
I always I was generally when that first reveal trailer was shown back, I think it was 2012 when that was shown. I was really interested because yes, the cyberpunk genre is something I like, but the moment I lost interest in cyberpunk is when they said it was first person.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm not into that.
I don't want it to be. That is probably my biggest gripe, is that it's first person. Which is not exactly something you can overlook, because it's every time you turn it on, it's still first person.
Yeah.
And you have to play throughout the whole thing in first person. That would be my biggest gripe. But I do really like Keanu Reeves in it.
Oh yeah?
And that sold it for me. The minute Keanu Reeves there, I was like, alright, it's going to be amazing. No matter what happens.
It helps to be a fan of Keanu Reeves as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, because he talks in it a lot, and he's a cynical bastard, and it's great. And I'm like Apple. I often disagree with him, but I'm a bit like, I kind of don't want to disagree with you because you're Keanu Reeves, but I have to disagree with you because of the things you're saying.
Brilliant. So is it the characters that make the game for you then, or?
Yes. Yeah, the characters are great. There's a character in it that you have a friend called Takamura, he's like traditional Japanese sort of all about honor, and we got to talk to this person. I'm always like, well, is this person not going to kill us? Like, isn't he kind of against us? Like, oh no, this man have honor and stuff. But then other times I'm talking to him in like a really loud market, and because of his accent mixed with a really loud market, and I don't have subtitles on because I think subtitles make it less immersive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am going to choose this option. And I still don't know what you're saying, so I don't know.
Yeah. You think subtitles make it less immersive? Who's less immersed now?
That's very immersive. Eric doesn't listen often, so
Yeah.
No.
Especially at loud markets.
So far, then, how does it compare to The Witcher 3?
Oh, that's it.
Really?
Ooh. No, Witcher 3 would be better.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, because we got you to eventually reveal that Witcher 3 was your favorite game of all time. So like,
I don't know now. I might be saying Cyberpunk.
I don't know what to think with you. Eric, is there anything else that and obviously we'll probably come back to Cyberpunk at some point.
Well, yeah, when I clear it and I can give a more detailed review of the whole thing and everything else. Actually, another point, right? I never thought this was possible. It's obviously in The Witcher, all right? You can kind of woo all the girls in it and stuff, and it's a bit like ridiculous. Woo! Yeah. All right. And in GTA, you can go get whores and stuff like that. I think in GTA San Andreas you were able to. In GTA San Andreas you can have like multiple girlfriends.
Hold on. They're prostitutes.
Yes,
not
Eric.
whores.
Is that not another name for them?
No, a whore
right.
a whore is a bad thing. A prostitute is a profession, like.
All right, you can get a few working ladies, all right?
In GTA, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Professional dates. Okay, they're professional dates.
All right. And then in Cyberpunk, I get friend zoned. I'm like, what the fuck? I play video games to escape this sort of bullshit.
You're sitting there going, I made a big penis for you. The Wang slider. Is that what they're calling it? Is it called the
No, it's not called the Wang slider.
No, it's called the penis slider.
It's called the penis slider.
Penis slider? Okay, cool.
I think.
Nice.
Or does the special slider?
Special slider.
Because I think it's the same slider, they have the vagina option.
Where do you fall on the special slider? Eric, what else have you been playing over the break?
I started Monster Hunter World just to give it a go.
Oh, yeah?
While playing it, I was a bit like, why did they turn this into a live-action movie? This is very clearly an anime, if they're going to turn it into any form of cinematic.
There is an anime. Is there? I feel like I've seen that before.
If there isn't, there should be.
Okay.
Because it's absolutely
anime.
Yeah, it's the whole thing's anime.
It's definitely not Mad Max.
It's definitely not Mad Max. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's very kind of somewhat childish. The character customization is actually pretty good in that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not bad. I customized my little cat thing. I decided to make him the most angriest, evil-looking cat there was, and then called him Wrencher. And then he goes around, he's all like, "Hey, what the fuck?" He's like, "That's not how I made you. Why are you happy? Stop being happy." Combat's not great, but it's graphically really beautiful.
Cool.
That was one of the most impressive things with it, because Monster Hunter for a long time has been a portable game.
Right.
And it was big on PSP, and then it kind of shifted over to the 3DS. So moving from the 3DS to a PS4 and Xbox One, that's some graphical jump, you know? And that really makes it impressive. It really sells up.
But when you start it, you're actually able to choose which you want, which preference you want. Do you want higher graphics, higher resolution, or higher frame rate? Which I thought was neat.
Oh, that's on the PS5 then. Yeah.
Oh, is it? All right. Yeah,
because it's using the PS4 Pro's features. So on the PS4 Pro, you're able to do that with a bunch of games. Like with Tomb Raider, for example, the second one.
Right.
You can choose to go either 1080p higher frame rate or 4K at a normal frame rate, or 1080p with higher graphics. Not a lot of games did that, but I wish they did. And the PS5 adopts the PS4 Pro's method when doing PS4 backwards compatibility.
It gives you those options in the third Tomb Raider as well.
Oh, cool.
So it's really good for you then, Eric, because I think you have the 1080p television, so you could go like way better graphics than.
That's the one I chose. I went for better graphics. Yeah, so it looks really good.
Yeah, I must give it a go, because I mean I have it, so it's just a case of getting through all the games now.
Yeah, the creatures are really good, and the start kind of reminded me a bit of when you're fighting Titan in Final Fantasy 15. Not as epically awesome, but that kind of little style, like it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
What else did I play?
Well, I have to ask you, how is because obviously just before the break you were talking about that you were going to play it, and obviously since you have played it, it was going to be your first PS5 game.
Oh yes, Demon's Souls.
How is it?
It's great, except it sucks at the same time, because it's like, this place is just ridiculously hard. Why are you so hard? Stop being hard. But graphically, you played a bit of it as well, Chris. Graphically, it's
graphics are incredible. The graphics are absolutely. The graphics have me so hyped for what is to come. You know what I mean? Because again, right? So it's not my kind of game. You know, like I'm into the designs and I'm into the creatures and all that stuff, and I love fantasy worlds and everything. But I think it's. Like, while I admire the style that it is, and I admire the fact that people are into that thing, like, when you die, the checkpoints are so far and few between that it's like I just, if I've died the second or third time and I have to do all of that again, that's where I go, nah, I'm just not enjoying this. It's not for me, So that's what I would check out in that sense. But yeah, the graphics are unbelievable. They're unbelievable.
Gameplay is really good, and some of the boss fights are really. Some of them they're fine, but like some of the creatures are so big, and they're like really cool. There's one place, I think it's in the trailer, like you obviously wouldn't really recognize if you're not really looking out for it, but there's one place like it's like you're on this island that's just constant raining. There's all these skeletons and stuff. But as I was going into like this old decrepit fortress, like the walls are broken down and everything, I was hearing like this weird, like a whale sound, and I was like, "What is that whale sound?" And I looked up, and there was like these giant stingray looking things just flying overhead.
I've seen them in
they're so cool looking. They'll kill you so quickly, but there's ways around them. But then at the end of it, there's a giant one of them that flies out of the clouds, and these stingrays are tiny to it, and you have to fight that. I was like, awesome, I'm going to die.
Yeah, how do you fight something like that?
You get a particular sword that has a special ability to hit it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so like most bosses have like a little trick thing that you get to kill them. That was good, but I think I told you this. It's kind of prevented me from playing it again. I did clear it, right? And I think as a story, it's really cool. It's really interesting. Way more straightforward than most of those style games. But something happened, and half of my stuff got deleted. So I'm back to halfway through the game, even though I cleared it. And I was like, okay, I'll just leave it.
You see, that it would annoy me, but at the same time, I'd be like, well, I know I cleared it, so I don't really I don't.
Yeah,
I don't have to
trophies,
do it again.
I have the trophies, so.
Well, you don't need to prove to someone that you cleared something, do you?
No, but it's.
But I know
like,
what you're saying. It is. It's like, oh man, come on, I had all that.
Yeah, like it's like I remember having a cartridge of Pokemon Yellow, and I had every single Pokemon in it. Plus, I had Mew, which I don't think you could get in Yellow. I got it through a trade with someone who had Silver. And I've cleared the game obviously, when I have all the everything in it. There's not much more I can do in it. But I had a second cartridge as well. Like I had 2 cartridges of Yellow, and the other one had nothing on it. And I remember a friend saying that they really wanted to get Pokemon Yellow, and I just said, well, I have a spare cartridge. You can have that if you want.
No.
And I didn't realize I gave them the one with all 151 Pokemon on it. And of course, they did the whole new game thing, and that just that wipes everything, And
oh no.
So yeah, I know, I know I got them all. I know I had.
No, that's different. That's different.
So it gets to the point, same with if you had, if you've done Snake Eater, right, and you've got all the camo, all the weapons, all the everything in it. It's still that's something you still don't want to lose, because it's fun to just jump back in and having everything.
Yeah.
At a later stage, rather than having to go all through that again.
Yeah.
So that to me is one of the worst fates that a gamer can have, is losing a save file.
Because it's kind of like with Arkham Asylum, when you play that and they make you think that the game has crashed and you have to start it again. It'd just be even though you have the trophies to prove that you've beaten particular characters, it's still just really annoying, because you're like, no.
Well, let us all say rest in peace, Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, that was.
It's a tough loss.
It was annoying as well. That the friend,
you're like, yeah, man.
The friend was like, it was someone who came down from Dublin as well. So it was like, it's not as if I could just go back and say, actually, sorry, I gave you the wrong copy. It was like they were down, and then they I gave it to them, and then they went home, and I didn't get to see them for another year.
That's horrible.
Yeah. That is horrible.
How about you guys?
So I feel your pain. I feel your pain there.
2020 was nothing. 2020. Adam breezed through 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been through this before.
I've been there. Been there.
What are you playing, Chris?
I played a few games. I haven't finished anything, but I just played a few games. So, I played a little bit of Maneater. Because
I
What?
did play a little bit of that.
Yeah,
I did play Maneater.
which I thought was ridiculous. It was kind of funny, but then and then this guy, and this is at the start of the game, he kills the shark you're playing as and rips it open and pulls a baby shark out of it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going? This is a bit much. And then tries to kill the baby shark that just came, and then you get to play as the baby shark. And I was like, oh, I get it. It's gonna be like Jaws: The Revenge. I'm gonna like grow up to be a big shark and kill everyone. It was a bit of crack going around eating stuff and all. I don't see myself playing that game to its completion, to be honest. I don't think it's that kind of game for me. But it was free, so it's easy to throw on and swim
I
around.
kind of wish that game was more ridiculous.
I kind of thought it was gonna be more like Goat Simulator in a way.
That's what I was expecting as well. Like, I wanted the more fast-paced, just more chaos.
Yeah. It's just nuts, like.
Because the combat in it isn't good.
No, it's not. And then it's weird when you get this documentary style narration that's happening over what you're doing. And I was like, okay, cool. They're gonna try and give me some like facts while you play. But then they had this cartoony villain guy rip open a pregnant shark, and I was like, okay, this is bizarre.
I'm pretty sure you as you're, because I think I've seen some gameplay footage and everything of it. I've cleared the game.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't. I haven't even played it. But I'm pretty sure the more you eat, you level up, and you're actually able to mutate the shark.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can customize your shark. You can choose what abilities and how it looks and everything.
Yeah, it becomes some weird looking alien cybernetic shark thing by the end of it.
And that's because
Like a RPG, I don't know.
you've got like this little den, at least in the area. I'm in like the swamp area at the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's a little den that's where you go to evolve or grow, and it looks like it's a really radioactive den.
Yes.
So it's like as if you're, at the fault of man, it's like you're becoming a monster essentially.
Yeah. The other games I played, I picked up for really cheap on the sale, Broforce and Layers of Fear, which we started playing. Myself and Ash started playing them.
Layers of Fear?
So we played. I haven't cleared anything yet. I've cleared nothing. I've dabbled in different games, and there's one game that I think I'm near the end of, and I'll get to that in a second. But so Broforce, I decided to throw on while dinner was on, and I was like, I have half an hour. It's not really long enough to jump into anything really immersive, but definitely long enough to play a few rounds of Broforce. So I'll throw that on. And I said, hey, Ash, do you want to play? Because I know it's not really her kind of game, but I just thought I'd ask her anyway, because it is more fun two-player. And she was like, not really. But then she saw that it's two-player that we could play together. She thought I was asking, like, do you want to have a go?
Yeah.
And when she saw it was two-player, she's like, oh, okay. And we played for like 2 hours. We had great
Dinner got burnt.
Yeah, dinner's fucked. But we played for ages, and it was fucking great crack. We fought the Terrorcopter.
That is one of the best, like, kind of invite people up fucking games.
Broforce is fantastic.
Of last gen, like it's such a good game.
And it's well worth it if you're. I don't know what story is with it on. Is it on Xbox?
I assume so.
I would assume so. Probably on Game Pass if you have Xbox, I would imagine. But it's
on Game Pass.
Oh, is it not?
No.
Oh man. Well, it's on sale anyway on PlayStation if you have that, and it's only €3 something, and it is well worth it. That is like well worth it.
Yeah.
It's such a fun game. So we're playing that, and then Ash was in the mood to watch me get scared, so she said, "Can we try that Layers of Fear game?" Because I bought that at the same time. And I was like, okay, yeah, go on. And so we put
What do you think?
We put that on. I'm on chapter 3, so we played kind of that much of it, and then it was getting kind of late. Turned the lights off, did it right. And at first it was like, this is kind of boring, and there's not really much going on. And then, but that was just the prologue section, when you try to get to the canvas room, and then it started, and then the more it goes on, it's like, oh, this is fucked up. What the fuck? It's like I was like, it's not that scary. It's fine. I keep going. But then there was a couple of like jump scare moments, and there was one moment where I was playing, and Ash got a good laugh out of it because I was playing along, and I went, scared the shit out of me. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was like a painting slapped across. Across the hallway, but like happened really suddenly, and we had the volume up quite loud as well. I was like, it did say you should play this with headphones, and I went, no, you're okay. That's just fine. That's just fine. But it is actually, it's
good, though, isn't it?
It's very interesting. Like we're seeing little clues of what happened, like piecing it together. So it's like, so are we the husband, and are we a bastard? Are we abusive? Did we do that? Did we do something to the dog? What the fuck? And like, trying to piece it together. We're really actually enjoying that. So it is something that we'll continue playing. But the game I've been playing the most, which was a PS Plus game, is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I'd played the demo of before, and I'd kind of enjoyed. And then just before the sale, actually, I was actually thinking of, because I saw that it was only €15, and I was like, you know what, for like a AAA style game, and something that I hope would be immersive. I'm looking for something a bit immersive. Yeah, I'll buy it. And just before I bought it, they announced that was going to be, and I was like, oh, thank God I didn't buy it. That would have broke my heart. So I didn't buy it, and then I got to play it, and I'm really enjoying it. Most of it. I'm really enjoying most of it. There was a section that I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Which I think Eric, you've played it before, so like, there's like, it feels more like the first Tomb Raider than it does like the second, right?
Good. Okay.
I think it's definitely better than Rise of the Tomb Raider. I don't know if it's seen that way in the wider community, but I don't think it's as good as the first one, but only because the first one was a bit of striking gold. You know what I mean? It was a bit of a Casino Royale, or a bit of like The Last of Us 1. Like, you've just trapped everything in the right moment. You've done something really special with a character everyone knows, that is very different and very bold, and you've pulled it off. It's hard to beat that, and I don't think you will beat that. But I do think this game is better than the second game, in my opinion. There's some great stealth combat takedown stuff that makes you feel like Rambo. There was even a trophy called First Blood, where you put muck all over yourself and you hide them in amongst branches with knives and you kill people. Lara's way more violent.
I noticed that as well.
Yeah, I think you're even able to get.
Kind of turned me off the game a bit. Now, I played it when it first came out, but I didn't clear it. I just kind of played so much of it, and I didn't recognize this Lara, basically.
Yeah.
I couldn't continue.
I think it's thematic though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's even with your rope arrows, if memory serves me correct, you're able to shoot them into people and then jump off the tree and then hang them.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, it is supposed to be thematic, because I think Jonah does kind of call her out.
Jonah's great in it.
Yeah, I think he
I
does.
think his moments are really good.
He often calls her out on kind of the shit.
Yeah, I
doing.
just thought I would have loved to have seen the progression of her becoming this Lara. I think it just jumped straight into it, kind of.
Yeah. What's weird
where
to me
she left off in Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And then this one, I feel like there's like a chapter missing, or even a level to show how she becomes so brutal.
It's weird to me that she's still at this point it doesn't have the two pistols. That's just weird.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Like, why are you just give her the pistols? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Why is the bow now her signature weapon?
But they won't replace the bow, because there's so many puzzles where you have to use the bow anyway that you will still have to use the bow. But just for those like combat scenarios,
give her the pistols.
Give her the pistols. Like, it's not going to make much of a difference, because, you know, like the pistol itself in the game, unless you buy a silencer, it's a loud gun anyway. So, you know, go loud, go proud.
Yeah, there should be just an upgrade that you end up with like the two pistols as the final upgrade.
Maybe that happens later in the game. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I got to a segment where there's like inhabitants. I thought that was weird. I wasn't really into that. It's after getting to a point where I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on with Trinity? Are they?
Yeah. Okay. So you're at the bit where I'm a bit like.
Yeah.
I got there. I was a bit like, what's that?
What just
like,
happened?
That's like Rise though. They took that from
Yeah, I
Rise.
know,
They
I know.
have so you're in like this weird Inca Aztec city with these people living here still, and there's like a civil war going on between two different sides, and literally
That stuff doesn't work for me.
you cross a stream and you're on the other side. Like, I don't really know how there's peace in this city. And the literal Trinity is a 1 second military gear, helicopters, soldiers. The next minute he's tribal paint, and all the Trinity guys are tribal paint. I was like, what? Just go with your guns and take over by force. What are you doing? Like,
well, so I'm hoping that it's going to make sense by the end. Based on your voice, I feel like it's not.
No, it does. It does make sense. There is an explanation to it, but I still just don't know why they bothered.
So that aspect, I don't like. Right? That's the part of the game that I'm like, okay, you've lost me there. And that feels, like Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is a game that I didn't enjoy that much, to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. However, the bits that remind me of the first game, which are the bits I really like, are, first of all, some of the earlier kind of stealth stuff. And then there's some fucking scary shit in this game. And I remember the first one being a little bit like you can nearly call it a survival horror.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't with the second one at all, I felt.
Not really, no.
This one you absolutely can. I even read a Reddit post by someone else who said, "Can someone please warn me when these things come up because my heart can't take this?"
That's brilliant. Okay, cool.
I walked through tunnels at one point. Fucking, it was like, do you remember A Plague Tale: Innocence? And you walk through like a tunnel and there's just corpses everywhere and it's disgusting. And like you can nearly see the flies, like it's just horrible. I had that experience and I went, no, I don't want to go any further. No, please, I don't want to. And then I saw Shadow and I went, put the controller down. I went, fuck off right now. And then I got jump scared and the sound effects, the audio is like, my heart was bouncing the whole time. And I was like, just let me out of here. I want to get out of this cave. I'm the Tomb Raider who wants to leave the tomb. I don't want to be in here anymore. I felt like I was in The Descent. I was in The Descent, Adam, and I didn't want to be in The Descent. Have you seen The Descent?
No.
The Descent is a horrible movie, and I was in it. So no, but it's really impressive. It's really cool.
And the puzzles, because that's my thing with them. Like I just love the Tomb Raider games for the actual puzzles.
See, I don't know because I realized after the fact that but I do think you can go in and change this. So I'm playing on easy because I wanted to kind of just play through the experience of it first. And but you can actually modify whether you want different aspects of the game to be different difficulties, which I didn't realize till after the fact. So everything is kind of on easy at the moment. So I'm the puzzles aren't like taking me back too much, but you can up the puzzle. Like puzzles can be put on a harder difficulty. So now I wonder, it's like, okay, well, what would they be like then and how difficult would they be? But I'm enjoying the traversal. There's an awful lot of swimming. There's some animal encounters. There was an amazing segment with a jaguar. That I was like, that is horrific. What the fuck? But it's really good. And
I do remember that actually. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck kind of fucking...
It's like Revenant kind of moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then the I feel like I'm being reminded of PS1 Lara Croft.
Cool.
Not the character. Just
the game.
Every
like
time
when it launched, like it fell flat. Like this game really fell flat.
Because I thought when it first came out, and even just being called Shadow Tomb Raider, and I heard it was made by a different team.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some side thing, kind of an Arkham Origins kind of thing. Like just a side Tomb Raider game until the next big one actually comes. I didn't realize it was actually supposed to be the final one in the Survivor trilogy, which is what they're calling it.
That's a good name for a trilogy, actually.
Yeah. And you know, it really fits that theme as well of the Survivor, and it kind of pushes her to her limits again. But every time she jumps into water, and I have to like do underwater bits, and I always stress about those because you're looking for that next air bubble. It really reminds me of the PS1 era, where I just always remember trying to get through water bits in tombs and in caves as Lara Croft in the early PS1 games. And I was taken back to that, and I was like, this is gas. Plus in this version, when you start it, you can put on all these different costumes. You can put on the costume from the 2013 Tomb Raider if you want. You can put on the one from Rise of Tomb Raider, like, so depending on how you want it to look. There's sort of a female equivalent of a Nathan Drake costume if you wanted that. And then there's the PS1 render if you wanted to win out while you play, but which is fun, like, you know. But it still has all that stuff. It still has like base camps and, you know, do up your skills and fast travel between them, change your inventory, upgrade your weapons, you know, all that stuff's still there. Some stuff doesn't work, some stuff works really well. I think it's better than the second game. I'm curious to see how people generally rate it though, because I don't think it's rated all that high.
It's not that the
well received.
It wasn't badly received either, though. It's not like it was just. I think it got a pretty good rating.
Yeah.
It's just no one really gave it any attention. You know, no one really actually played it. It could have been at the time that it came out, though.
Yeah, didn't the Rise and Shadow have a case of they always came out when another big game was coming out, so therefore people would have obviously just focused on the other game?
It's possible. I remember.
I don't know. Like Rise did pretty well though, because it was Xbox exclusive for a year.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that really gained a lot of interest because obviously, if you're on Xbox, you obviously want to play the big exclusives, and on the PlayStation side of things, it made for this longing for that game then. So there's that anticipation for it. So that really helped it actually. Whereas Shadow, it was kind of announced, there was bits shown. I think I think it's probably just down to their advertising and the way they showed the game didn't really help.
It seemed to just come out of nowhere and they just sort of dropped it.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought it was going to be a side game. I will say, like, it's not the most amazing game I've ever played or anything like that. It's better than I thought it was going to be. That's what.
And that's the beauty of things like PS Plus. I think is like you always come across this kind of piece of gold. You know, similar to Spec Ops: The Line, where that or Mad Max. Those games
better than anyone thinks.
They're really, really great games, but when they launched, they fell flat.
Yeah. And what is Spec Ops: The Line. What a surprise that was! Like that, sure. Nobody expected anything except just.
I mean, that's actually a game that would make a very good movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, you would just make it as it is, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
But the twists are, they're fantastic.
The twists are like movie quality twists.
Hard to do because there's like 3 endings, isn't there?
Pick the best.
All 3 are great.
But like even all the different the different themes and everything it deals with, I know it would be again another anti-war film, but they tend to do quite well rather than trying to take a big open world anime generated Monster Hunter movie and try to do that.
Look, no one wanted that Monster Hunter movie.
No. It's okay because nobody got it either. Yeah. What they made wasn't that. It's like, what the fuck? Did you know actually? Just you probably do know this, but George A. Romero wrote a script for the original Resident Evil movie.
Wow. I did not know that.
Okay, and it's out there somewhere. And it followed the first game really closely. Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine were going to be the lead characters. It was going to be set in the mansion. I mean, why would you turn down George A. Romero, like the zombie guy, to make your Resident Evil movie? They then favored this other. So Paul W.S. Anderson was working on the script for a movie. It wasn't for Resident Evil. He was working on a script anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They took it, added some elements, and rebranded it Resident Evil. It was similar. It still had like a mansion with like a science lab and shit like this. But I don't know whether it was like supposed to be zombies or mutants or something. You know, he was making another kind of Event Horizon sci-fi.
Yeah, it'd be the equivalent of like they could easily just take Event Horizon, call it Dead Space, and then be done.
Exactly. That's pretty much what they did.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, just for marketing alone, would you not want the Resident Evil movie by George A. Romero? Like,
yeah. Well, at least like we are getting another Resident Evil though, aren't we? So it's
Netflix show. And you know what? I kind of hope they go for a little bit of like build up to it. I hope they go for that kind of Netflix crime thriller thing of like cops finding these murdered victims, because you know in Resident Evil it opens up with a brief talking about how there was random murders happening in the Arklay Mountains that they couldn't explain, and like acts of cannibalism and stuff. So I hope they're finding the results of,
like the Hannibal TV show.
Yeah. And eventually they work up to that mansion, and that happens.
Yeah.
That would be fucking cool. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're cool. I don't know. Maybe no one else does. We'll see what happens. Isn't there? There's also a CGI Resi series or movie coming to Netflix.
I don't know about that one. I just know there's the other tree
There was
CGI.
a trailer for it.
Was there?
Yeah. Oh, check it out. Yeah. There's a trailer. It's coming to Netflix this year. Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield are the main characters in it.
It's another kind of degeneration.
I think so, but I don't know if it's a movie or if it's a Netflix show.
I think I might have seen it. Maybe I'll look it up again. But
I remember seeing it and going, "Oh, cool! I'm intrigued. Yeah, let's do it."
Nice.
Yeah. Because I'm all up for that. And actually, speaking of Resident Evil,
I did actually finally play Resident Evil 2.
fuck off.
And
Not
Jesus
video
wept.
games.
Oh,
That's right. He did.
okay, right. So
Sorry, I thought you played the game. I was like, yeah. Okay, so let's tell people about this. So
obviously with
Go ahead,
Cyberpunk, it's with Cyberpunk, and Chris got it from me, and then all the reviews came out, and pretty much everyone was saying it was broken, and I was still saying that I was still looking forward to it. Chris was all like, "Oh shit, gotta get him something else just in case this game."
Whoa, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Santa did.
Chris got into contact with Santa, and he was all like, "Oh, it's Santa." I'm like super worried that Eric's gonna hate Cyberpunk, right? Which I don't. The game is really good, even though I might not talk it up that much. It is really graphically.
Yeah.
I remember opening it, going, "Wow, this is a stunning game." But so Santa, after Chris got into contact with him, was like,
Sound out, Santa.
get him something else. And Santa was all like, leave it with me. All right, I know how to get him.
Well, Santa even surprised me, I have to say. He was quick. He was quick at working.
Yeah. So he got me the Resident Evil 2 board game made by Steam Forged Games, which do a lot of video game variation board games and other stuff.
So then we obviously we couldn't. Well, in between when we could meet up, just before between one lockdown and the next lockdown.
It was the night of lockdown.
Yeah. No, well, it was just before it. We had the opportunity to play the board game in person, which we did, and it played really well. And then obviously lockdown happened. We realized we weren't going to see each other for a long time again. We're back to this kind of life. So we tried playing the board game over Skype, in which case Eric would sort of facilitate, and he had the board set up. We were designated characters. Myself and Adam then would kind of have to have pieces of paper and take note of sort of our life and items that we had and such. And we would just have to dictate what we wanted to do. And we had dice, and we'd have to designate numbers for the different symbols for the specialized dice that are actually in the game, roll ourselves, and take the effect of whatever happened. But we played through one of the scenarios, and it was a lot. I had a lot of fun playing it.
It worked really well.
Yeah, it worked surprisingly well. Like, it does work better playing it in person, of course.
Oh yeah,
it's more fun that way, but it doesn't mean that it can't be played that way. We did actually, for the crack, record ourselves playing the game, and if that's something that I don't know if anyone would be interested in watching that, but we could put it up on YouTube at some point. If someone wanted to see it, if people thought that, oh yeah, that'd be a bit of crack, see what it's like playing the game. But also it could show you that if you have a game like that, or if you have other board games, there's a way to play them and get around the whole thing. It's not as immersive, but there's still a way to do it. And it's kind of like playing a video game in a way.
Yeah, it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. I think it worked really, really well. I didn't really find too much disconnect from when we managed to play it in person plus over Skype.
Right.
I think being able to have my own dice and I think that helps. You're being very proactive with it.
It gives you something to do. You're not just
it is your decisions then.
Yeah.
That was a really, really fun night as well. The night we did actually manage to get together to play the board game, because just before that we played the Lord of the Rings tabletop as well. And that was fun as well. That was so much fun. Like I'm really raging I didn't get to do more of that when we came out of lockdown. Because like video games, like we can play them anytime. But games like that where it requires multiple people in person as well.
Well, it gave me a real urge to, because I was like, oh man, really? Because now I want to play more of, like I really wanted to play more of the Resi one actually,
Yeah.
because not only to see how the scenarios play out, but also like there's so for people that haven't played it, you can check it out. And there's actually the guys who made it, Steamforge, they have playthroughs of the scenarios on YouTube. They are fun to watch. Like you might think it's a bit weird watching other people play a game, but it actually is quite fun to watch. Plus you'll learn kind of how the game works and stuff. But there's things called tension cards. For me, they really add to the whole thing because, you could find yourself in a real tight situation and you're lifting these tension cards and they'll determine whether or not you're safe or whether or not, you're about to be attacked by 2 zombies or 2 zombie dogs or a licker even, right? They have all that stuff from Resi. And just every time you're lifting a card and waiting to see, like, have I just screwed us all over or are we okay? And like, oh, thank God, it's okay. Or if you find yourself on your own, and then suddenly you're like, oh shit,
Yeah, I played a few on my own. It is rough.
Yeah.
It's rough on your own, like especially when you're just using. Because I might do what you suggested me, Chris, where I use multiple characters because I was only ever using one character.
You so should.
I die every time. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to die.
I'm losing to myself.
It's great how they implement like the game mechanics of the the original Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
It actually feels like them, like the PS1 games.
Yeah.
Like the using of the typewriter and the using of the green herb and stuff like that. Like it's really, really well done. It's really well balanced. At first, I think when I played it, I thought this is pretty brutal. Like I have little to no health. How am I going to survive this? And I always like the 2 times we played, the beginning to midway was pretty difficult, but once you get past that bit, just like a Resident Evil game, the areas are kind of cleared and you can just kind of run around and do your thing. I think it's a really well balanced game. It works well.
Well, the thing is that if you're familiar with Resident Evil 2, the game, it feels really reminiscent. Like it feels like even that thing, like exactly what you said. Like once you clear the place. Now and once you have everything you need, like when you get better weapons and stuff, like suddenly you're like, oh, now I can tank through these guys. That's what it's like to play a Resi game. It's really close. It's really good. Like if anyone is a Resi fan and thinks that they would enjoy something like this, like if they're at home and they are with people in lockdown, but they've kind of running out of things to do, look it up online and see if it's something you're interested in because it's really good. Plus, this episode is sponsored. No, my job. We're not sponsored. Are you kidding me? We're not fucking sponsored. But no, I'm looking forward to. I would do more games of it over Skype, but I'm also looking forward to meeting up again in person and doing other stuff. The Lord of the Rings tabletop game as well was brilliant.
Yeah, that
really,
was really.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Me and Adam, I think we ordered more stuff, ordering stuff off people, and we ordered some 40k stuff as well, which actually did arrive. But we got a bit of a shock. Adam forgot Brexit was a thing, and I didn't realize Brexit.
Oh yeah.
Was going to affect.
Hey, you kind of
it's in such a way.
That,
yeah.
So
I haven't ordered now, but I'm
so this is for even all of our listeners as well. If you haven't ordered anything from
if you're in Ireland.
If you're in Ireland.
Well,
anywhere in the EU actually.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the EU, or if you're in America or Japan, but I'm assuming you guys put up with it anyway. Don't order from England, or at least if you are going to read the like FAQ section,
you never really know what way the customs is going to work, and
brutal.
And there's no real way of calculating it either. People are at the moment getting really badly caught out. I was aware that there was going to be customs.
But I didn't know how quickly.
You just never really know how much it ends up being, and unfortunately, it ended up costing a lot more than we were anticipating. But that is unfortunate because this is this chair that I'm on. Pagan is really wanting to order one for her PC setup. Secret Labs. I think they're a UK-based company, but now she's just not going to be able to order it because it's done by weight.
It's ridiculous. I guess that's too much. I hope. Like I ordered so much off Amazon. I'm an Amazon Prime customer. Like I rely on them for a lot of stuff. I won't be buying off them now, unless they set up an Amazon.ie. which
Or I
they're
think
not
it might be
to.
coming from like Amazon Germany or something like that.
You can
Yeah,
go to
we might
Germany
have
as
to
well.
go to those.
I'm gonna try something small with them just to see what the postage time is like. Because the thing with the UK was like, so for example, yes, by means of Santa, I ordered Resident Evil 2 because again I was like freaking out over the Cyberpunk thing. I was like, oh, it's gonna be the shittiest Christmas ever. Right? It turns out he loves it, and I got double whammied. But but I was like, I need to order him something else, and I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, there's no other games I can think of. He already has Demon Souls. Like, there's nothing else that's exciting right now. And I was like, I don't want to get him a fucking voucher. He has money. He can get shit himself. I was like, what can I think of? And at the last minute, I thought of the board game. I was like, oh shit, he loves Resident Evil 2. He's really into board games lately. I think he'd really enjoy this. I looked up reviews of it. Everyone said it was one of the better video game board games. I was like, cool, okay, awesome. Then I was trying to see did anywhere have it. Nowhere in Ireland had it. I was in contact with different because I was like, it's too close to Christmas. It's never coming on time. Never. I got caught up with loads of stores. Nope, sorry, we don't have it. No one has it. I was checking out the UK stores. I was like, they just won't get it over here in time. Like, there's no chance, right? So on the Monday before Christmas, I ordered it. I was like, it's too late now. It's going to come late anyway. They told me it'll be coming on the 4th of January. I did up a letter that I wrapped up instead so that he could read it to say, this is on the way. Sorry that it's late, but you'll get it as soon as possible. I had Adam print off the letter for me. I had it wrapped up, ready to go. On Wednesday, it arrived. I was like, what? You teleporting masters. What? How is this possible? It obviously had been in an Irish warehouse somewhere, and they were able to get it to me much quicker. Because there's no way they flew it over that quickly.
Yes.
So even though it said it wasn't coming till the 4th of January, it came 2 days later. But anyway, so that's probably the last time I get to really enjoy the benefits of being with Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It was just before Brexit. So, but it's awesome.
Could you imagine if it actually did come on the 4th of January and you would have had to then pay custom tax?
Not only that.
No, it wouldn't.
No, because I would have already paid for it just before.
If it's ordered after the 1st of January.
Yeah.
So
we were silly about that, Adam.
No, we were planning on ordering before that. We had plans to get the last few orders. We just got a bit late on that. That's all.
What would have happened instead, Eric, is I would have got it, and you wouldn't have been able to get it until after the lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it all worked out really well. But anyway, those were the games that we played over the holidays. There was work done as well. There weren't really full holidays. There were, yeah. What we'd call the holiday period, I suppose. Those are the games we played, and those are the movies that we watched, and that's what we got up to. There is a full recording of the Resident Evil 2 playthrough over Skype. We'll see about putting it up. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll have seen some footage of the board game and some of the way we played it as we were talking about it. None of the audio, though, but we might put out the full thing as like a bonus thing when I get around to editing it all together. And then if you're listening to us on audio platforms, you can obviously touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to let us know what you played and what you watched and what you got up to over the holiday period as you said goodbye to 2020 and came into 2021. Again, if you're watching this YouTube, jump into the comments, let us know. And if you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up and smash that subscribe. No, that's the wrong one. Smash the like and hit the subscribe.
Ring the notification bell.
And kick down the... I don't fucking know what the terminology is. No, but if you...
beat the shit out of the comment section.
Yeah, beat the fuck out. No, but it would be great to get more people on board. That'd be awesome. The other thing is there's a few topics that we'll want to cover in the next few weeks and stuff, but if there's anything you guys from listening to us before would love to hear us talk about, shout them out. Even if it's not a video game, shout it out. We'll see if we can work it in. We'll see if it's something that we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's talk about that. Or let's talk about that in the context of video games. No politics or religion. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Politics and religion. Trauma.
Only politics.
Only politics. And just for
political or religion.
Yeah,
Religious politics.
And for anyone who's still playing the game, Skyrim. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.